fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at 3 new figures from Series 3 of the World of Halo line from Wicked Cool Toys. We have Spartan Eod, Jackal Raider, and Spartan Cavallino. And I think that Wicked Cool Toys has definitely made some strides in terms of their packaging for this line. We still have Master Chief on the front of every box, which I guess makes sense. He is kind of the main character for the brand. Very much the icon that everyone knows to look for in terms of Halo. So I guess I get that to some extent. But it would be nice to get some more individualistic packaging where we actually have some art for the character inside on the front of the box or something like that. But where they have really come a long way, we actually get a little cross-sell here on the back to show us the other figures that are available in this wave. Previously, we always just kind of had the same static picture of Master Chief kind of mid-stride, and it was really kind of boring. So I'm really excited that they actually show you what else is available. Now, you can see the same 3 here that I'll be reviewing today. We also have an Elite Mercenary and Hyperius, which look kind of cool. And then we have a Master Chief. There's got to be a Master Chief in just about every wave, which makes sense. I won't be buying him because I've got enough Master Chiefs. Anyway, I've got about 5 of this guy already. He's come with all the vehicles and things, so I definitely don't need any more of him. But I was really excited to pick up some new Spartans. I think the color schemes for these look really cool. The Jackal Raider looks great. He comes with the big shield and everything, so I'm really excited for that. They also all come with one of the new base pieces, which I think is really important because the earlier waves had those like misengineered, I don't even know what to call it, but you could assemble them in kind of a straight line or maybe have a branch go out, but you couldn't honeycomb them correctly because of the way they were manufactured, and that was a bummer. But they've redesigned them. They must have heard some feedback from fans because they've redesigned them now and you can actually connect them properly, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So very excited for that. I think all 3 of these are great. I found them at Walmart for like $9.84 a piece, something like that. I feel like for what you get with these figures, $10 is very reasonable. Now, they are 4-inch figures. The World of Halo line is all the 4-inch figures because that way they're more compatible with the vehicles and everything. They also do a 6-inch line, which I think is called the Spartan series or something like that. Spartan collection, maybe. But I just really like the 4-inch figures. I just think, you know, for what they cost, they're really nice, articulated, painted figures, and you can kind of army build a little bit more there. So without further ado, I'm going to get these 3 guys out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the 3 figures out of the packaging. We'll start over here on the left with Eod. You can see he comes with this little base plate, kind of a rocky terrain. Same one that the Jackal Raider comes with. Cavallino's got kind of a grassy terrain. I don't know if these are just thrown in the packages at random, if they're specific to the character, like every Eod is going to come with this one. I don't know, but they all work really well, and I think they look pretty good. You can see the rocky terrain there, the paint applications there are pretty good. And I'll show you how these connect a little bit later on. But yeah, here is Eod, really nicely detailed, really nice paint applications. A little bit of copyright information there on the back of the thigh, which is a bummer. But I mean, just look at all the ammo he's got strapped to the front here. That's really nicely detailed and painted. The helmet looks good, nice blue visor. You have a hinge so you can kind of look down, look up, nice range of motion there. Swivel side to side, no problem. You have a hinge and a swivel in the shoulder, nice range of motion there. You don't have a bicep swivel here, but you have a hinge and a swivel here in the elbow. And then you have a hinge and a swivel in the wrist. He's got kind of a ball joint here in the torso. Some Spartans have waist swivel, but he does not. So he just has the ball joint there. He can kick pretty far forward. Kick a little bit out to the side, not too much. The leg armor gets a little bit in the way. And then he's got kind of a butt flap, so he can't really go much further back than that. But he does have a thigh swivel. He's got nice double jointed knees with really nice ratchets. You can kind of hear them there a little bit. You have a rocker and a hinge here in the ankle. So honestly, for a $10 4-inch figure, the amount of articulation and paint applications this thing has kind of blows me away. He's got this gun that you can peg into the back, which I really like how you can store the weapons there. He's just a simple peg, and that pegs into the back. Unfortunately, he can't actually hold this weapon because the handle here is just too wide. And I've tried it with both hands, and it just will not fit in that space. So all the weapons are kind of universal. You know, if you have other releases with different weapons, you can kind of mix and match. So I can probably find him a weapon from something else. But unfortunately, this one just doesn't really work. But you can peg it onto the back, which looks pretty cool. So all in all, I think he looks great. I'm going to pop him back on the stand here. And we will move on to the Jackal Raider. This guy looks fantastic. They do such a nice job with the aliens. I really applaud them because this guy just looks amazing. I mean, look at this detail. Look at the paint applications. He's got so much articulation, which we'll get into. But just look at the head sculpt. I mean, that looks really, really cool. The eyes are painted really nice. You can open and close the mouth. If I can get a handle on it. There we go. I mean, that's a really nice range of motion there. I think the inside of the mouth is painted. It's kind of hard to tell. It might just be the kind of general like black wash that they've given the figure. But still, really nice range of motion there. He's got a hinge and a swivel at the base of the skull and the base of the neck. So you can move this up and down. Really nice range of motion. Swivel side to side. Then you can use this hinge as well. Swivel side to side. You can see all the detailing here on the armor on the back. He's got this really nice shield, which you can see just clips onto the forearm. I'm going to pop that off because it's very simple just to clip that on and off. Nice hinge, rotation in the shoulder. He's also got a hinge and a rotation in the elbow, and then a hinge and a rotation in the wrist. You can see the little Covenant blaster he's got. Really, even that's got some nice paint applications. I love the purple and the green, looks really sharp. He's got a swivel ball joint here in the torso. You can kick really far forward with the hinge in the hips and the swivel there. Nice kick out to the side. Got a thigh swivel. Now he's got two knees. So he's got this knee here, which is kind of a limited joint. Not too much going on there, but you can swivel side to side. And then he's got another one over here, which is also kind of limited. Mostly you get a swivel out of this one. You can move it a little far forward, but you mostly get the swivel, and then you have the full hinge and swivel down here in the ankle. So because he's got kind of the double jointed knee, it's a little bit limited articulation at each one, but it's because he has two. But just really nice detail and paint. All the red armor looks really sharp. And just in general, I think they do such a nice job with these. All of the aliens I've gotten so far from this line have been really, really nicely done. And I love this shield. Just clips right onto the forearm. It does make the arm a little heavy, so sometimes, depending on what pose you want to get it into, it might kind of make the arm droop, because it is a fairly heavy shield, but it looks good. And we'll go ahead and just peg him back on here. And last but certainly not least, we have Cavallino. I really like the color scheme for this guy. Kind of like jungle camouflage colors. I think that's really cool, but I like the pops of orange. The visor looks great. Kind of a different shade of green here. You have some pouches and everything molded on. He's got a little knife molded onto his thigh here. You can't detach it or wield it or anything like that, but it looks pretty cool. And he's got pretty much the same articulation as Eod. I feel like he's got a little bit less articulation in the neck as far as up and down, but he can certainly look side to side. He's got the hinge, rotation, elbows are the same, wrists are the same. Now he's got the ball joint there, but he's also got a waist swivel. So he's got the ball joint and the waist swivel. He can kick pretty far forward. He can kick a little bit out to the side, but the knife thing gets in the way, but the leg armor gets in the way on this leg as well. And then he's got the butt flap, thigh swivel. The one problem I have with him is you can see, for the double jointed knees, the plastic here is not cut very deeply. If you take a look at Eod's knees, you can see how this extends further down, so you can get a full nice range of motion there out of his like lower knee joint. And you don't really get that here. So as soon as you go to bend this, you kind of start stressing the plastic already. And you can see I'm already starting to get some white stress marks. So you can get the full range of motion out of the top knee joint. No problems there because that has the cut. But for whatever reason, this one doesn't. So you can really only do about one click of the ratchet. And then you start getting into like bending the plastic. And that's a bummer. I don't really know why that was done. I mean, technically, you could probably just cut it yourself with like an X-Acto knife or something if you wanted to give him more clearance there. I just don't really know why that was done. It's such a weird choice because it effectively makes this bottom knee joint, it renders it useless, really. So the first one up top works great. You can see the cutout there. Didn't cut it out down here. I don't know if that's a QC issue on mine or that's just an overlooking, oversight that they had. I'm not sure. But then you have the hinge and the rocker down here. And then he comes with this gun, which actually does fit his hand, which I appreciate. We can clip this right in there. And that looks pretty good. Really nice detail on the weapons. Nice paint application. So he looks cool. I like him a lot. A little bit of a bummer with that knee joint, but other than that, really, really solid figure. Peg him back in. So yeah, all three of these are pretty solid. Let's take a look at the bases real quick. So we have the three bases here, and the way they connect, you just kind of slide them in like this. And that's really crucial because that way you can actually kind of honeycomb them together and make a full connective battlefield here. And they stay together really solidly. Like, they're not going to come apart, which is really cool. The way the old ones were made, let me take this one back out of here. You had to kind of like go like this, and then because this was a solid plastic here, so this had a covering, so you kind of had to like put this one underneath and then flip it from underneath and then get them to kind of sandwich that way. And that made it so that you could never actually get both of these to accomplish that goal when you were trying to put this third one in. But because these just drop straight down now, you don't run into that issue. And so these are really great. I'm really glad that they fixed this. I feel like somebody must have figured this out, or maybe there were consumer complaints, I'm not sure. But I'm really glad they fixed this because now these fit together. And like I said, they're sturdy. This is not going anywhere. This really fits together well. And the more of these you get, you can build out a whole battlefield, make fun terrains and things like that. And I think that's really great. I'm actually really excited to get more of these. It would be neat if they did some kind of like pack where you could get a bunch of these with maybe some extra like little bases or outpost things. They did an outpost set that I reviewed previously that I thought was really great, but I'd love to get some more like base terrain plates, as well as like actual little structures and things to kind of build out like a really big place that, or kind of make your own map from the game, something like that. I think could be really fun. But yeah, these work really, really well. Really solid. So these are three really great figures, but I think that the Jackal Raider is going to win the day. He looks fantastic. The armor's really nicely detailed and molded. All the paint applications look great. I really love the head sculpt. They did a great job there. He comes with two really great accessories that both fit and equip where they're supposed to. I didn't have any trouble with his articulation, so I think he's going to be the best out of the three. Now, Eod's perfectly good as well. He looks really sharp. The only problem I have with him is that he can't hold that weapon that he comes with, but I'll definitely just track down a gun from a previous release and then he'll be squared away. My only problem with Cavallino really is those knees on the back. The fact that they didn't actually like carve out the channel for the lower knee joint makes it pretty much inoperable. I really can't use that knee joint without stretching the plastic. And it's not a huge deal because at least he has the upper knee joint, but it's just weird to design the figure that way. And I think it was just an oversight, but it does kind of detract from the figure's posability, but the rest of him looks great. I love the color scheme. The weapon he comes with looks good. Overall, I'm still very happy I decided to pick him up. Just a weird little QC issue that I think is just kind of a weird design. I hope it's just a weird oversight. Maybe it's just a QC issue on mine, and other releases will be fine. I don't really know. But other than that, he looks great. So there's still three really solid figures. I definitely recommend picking them up. Like I said, what Jazzwares and Wicked Cool Toys are doing with these for $10, the amount of paint applications, the accessories, the articulation, all the molded detail, it's really kind of astounding that they can do all of that and still keep this at the $10 price point. So I love these figures. I definitely recommend them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.